Right. So now in this video, we're going to go over the second part of section 6.1, which is multiplying and dividing rational expressions. And then at the end of this section, I'll give you the homework. I'm trying to kind of make these videos a little shorter and to make them smaller bites. So I'm breaking them down by topic rather than just like say lecture 1, lecture 2 kind of post. So give me just 1 second to get this set up. Okay. Great. So I'll tell you, multiplying and dividing rational expressions, super duper easy. The hardest part is going to be simplifying, which was the earlier part in section 6.5. So what I like to do with these actually, that's a little different than if you're multiplying and dividing, say, fractions, is I like to factor these to begin with. Okay, so the very first thing I like doing is factoring, or kind of as we go, and it kind of helps once we get to the end. So first up, let's just review on how to multiply or divide fractions. Okay, so let's multiply fractions first. Multiplying fractions. So if I was going to just a basic multiplying fractions, if I had like 2/5 times, let's say 3/4. Okay, 2/5 times 3/4. To multiply, remember you multiply across. Now look, and I'll tell you what's different with what we're about to do. I'm going to keep these factored. I'm not going to actually say 2 times. I'm not going to say this numerator is 6. I'm going to write this as 2 times 3. Okay. And the bottom I'm going to say is 5 times. And now look, I'm going to factor the 4 here. 4 is 2 times 2. Okay. And I know this looks goofy, but it ties into exactly what we just went over on how to simplify fractions. Okay. Or simplify polynomials, because now everything is factored. It's all multiplied on top and bottom. The 4 is just 2 times 2, right? So look, we have a common 2 on top and we have 1 on bottom. They can go away. So this actually becomes 3/10. Okay, this actually becomes 3/10. So let's look at this with an example. And I'm going to steal one that, gosh, they really dump you in the deep end here. Hold on, let me find like a basic example maybe before. No, okay. Let's look at, this is number 34 in your homework actually. 10 minus 2x over 7 times 14 over 5x minus 25. Now this is where it's of uber importance to put parentheses around anything with a plus or minus. Okay, I'm going to put parentheses around anything with a plus or minus. Okay, and then the very first step is if it has a parentheses, you need to factor it completely. Okay, you need to factor it completely. Now remember, we're going to be multiplying. We're going to multiply across here, but the 10 minus 2x, I can factor a 2 out, and I'm left with 5 minus x, right? And I'm going to factor the 14 as well. 14 is 2 times 7, and it's all on one fraction. That's all a single numerator. We just multiplied it across with all its factors in all its glory. Okay. Excuse me. The denominator, I'm going to do the same thing. Now the 7 doesn't factor, right? So because it's a prime number. But I can factor what? A 5x minus 25. I can factor a 5 out. And I'm left with x minus 5. Okay. And now we're going to go to town on factoring, okay? Or canceling, I should say. But notice, I did the same thing I did in the numerator. I just factored it completely and then combined it, right? 10 minus 2x, that can factor a 2 out. And it leaves me with the 5 minus x times 14, which is just 2 times 7, okay? And then the denominator, we've got a 7 times. I can factor a 5 out here. So 7 times 5 times x minus 5. And we just group them under one set of parentheses. Now, okay, let's see what I can factor, or I can cancel a 7 out first. right? But look, this 5 minus x and x minus 5, I've got to do that negative trick again. So I'm going to take out a negative here. So I get, God, this is a horrible example, but whatever. I'm going to take a negative out. So I'm going to call this negative 2 now. This would be x minus 5 times 2 over 5 times x minus 5. Now I can cancel the x minus 5s. Now look, notice in the numerator, this leaves me with negative 4. And then the denominator, that leaves me with 5. All of that simplified into negative 4/5, into a basic fraction. All of this simplified into negative 4/5. Okay, a very basic fraction. Which is kind of crazy. Okay. Not a big fan of this example, but it does show what's going on. So we're factoring the numerator, factoring the denominator, but really when we factor them, we just push them together because it's multiplication. Okay, because it's multiplication. Let's look at one that actually is going to look more complex, but I think it's a better example. Okay, it'll look more complex, but it's a better example. So if we had, this is number 36 in your homework. God dang, she loves that example. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do an odd one. This is 35. This will be a question that's in your homework. So 18a minus 12a squared over 4a squared plus 4a plus 1 times 4a squared plus 8a plus 3 over 4a squared minus 9. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my God, this is a lot. Okay, and you're not wrong. It is a lot. And we're going to work this piece by piece. Okay, we have 4 separate polynomials, and to me, it looks like all 4 of these are going to be factored. So we're going to be very tedious with how we do this, and we're going to factor it correctly, all 4 of them correctly, so therefore we can simplify it correctly at the end. Okay, so let's look at this first factor, 18a minus 12a squared. Okay, 18a minus 12a squared. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to use a separate piece of paper here. So almost like a scratch paper on the side, because I want to show you how to simplify it after that. But let's look at this 18a minus 12a squared. Well, I can factor what, a 6 out? And that would leave, or a 6, not just a 6, but a 6a out. That would leave me with 3, right? 6 times 3 is 18a. And then a 2a, right? 6 times 2 is 12. Make sure it's the same sign. A times a gives me a squared. So this first polynomial would be factored right here. Okay, we'd be done with that one. I'm going to underline. Now I'm going to go to this next one. 4a squared plus 8a plus 3. Now this is going to be that AC method. So I'm going to factor it the AC method way. So 4 times 3 gives me a 12. It's got to add up to 8, so 6 times 2. So I'm going to crack it apart. 4a squared plus 6a plus 2a plus 3. And now we've got, just factoring polynomials by grouping, or I should say factoring trinomials by grouping. 6 times 2 multiplies to give me the 12. 6 plus 2 gives me the 8. Now I can factor a 2a out of this first set. That leaves me with 2a plus 3. Oh, I already have a 2a plus 3, so I don't want to change it, right? So I'm going to factor a 1 out. It leaves me with 2a plus 3. These match, so that leaves me with 2a plus 3 times 2a plus 1. And I know if you're thinking, where in the heck is he getting all of this? Well, you need to go back to 5.5. Okay, so my first factored term is here. My second numerator factored term is here. Okay, so here's the first one. We'll call this one the first. We'll label these. Okay, here's 1. That's 1 factor. Here's 2. Here's 2 factored. Okay, now we're going to work on this third polynomial. So the third polynomial is 4a squared plus 4a plus 1. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to use the AC method like I did before. 4 times 4 gives me, or 4 times 1 gives me a 4. 2 times 2 multiplies to 4, adds to 4. So we get 4a squared plus 2a plus 2a plus 1. The first two grouped together can factor out what, a 2a? Leaves me with 2a plus 1. We already have a 2a plus 1, so I'm going to factor a 1 out here. Factor the 2a plus 1 out. Oh, it's the same exact thing. We'll leave it like that. Okay, so not second, but the third polynomial factors into 2a plus 1. Wait, whoa, 2's down here. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. This is the second one. The third one down here factors into 2a plus 1 and 2a plus 1, right? So now the last polynomial, the 4a squared minus 9. This is the fourth one, right? The fourth one. This is difference of squares. 2a squared minus 3 squared. So we get 2a minus 3 and 2a plus 3. So that's the fourth polynomial. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of work, right? All of this is section 5.5 and 5.6, actually. That's difference of squares. That came from section 5.6 off of the last test. Okay, so let's look and see how this shakes out now. So let me see here. We got 18. Well, guys, I'm getting this from here. I got to kind of write it on the side. Okay. This first polynomial up here actually factors into this. So we get 6a times 3 minus 2a. Now, we're multiplying, so we're just going to multiply it across. The second polynomial is right here, down here. So this would be 2a plus 3 times 2a plus 1. Boom, that's our numerator, okay? So our first polynomial factors into this. Our second polynomial here factors into this. Okay, so then our third polynomial down here, 2a plus 1 times 2a plus 1. That's our bottom left polynomial, right? Our third one. And then our last one, 4a squared minus 9, is 2a minus 3 and 2a plus 3. Holy cow. That's crazy. Okay. So what we've done now is we've written all of this in factored form in one fraction. Yeah, this is a lot. Okay. And if you're going, oh my God, I'm so confused. Well, first off, you need to go back to 5.5 again in 5.6 and maybe review how to factor. Second, you definitely want to get how to simplify polynomials. The first topic in 6.1, you want to get that done first. It'll make this seem a lot easier once you get that done. If you're just now watching this and not going over the foundations to get here, it's going to look a lot harder than it actually is. Okay. So let's cancel what we can cancel. I've got a 2a plus 1. I can cancel. Well, 3 minus 2a and 2a minus 3. See those two? If we can factor out a negative, we could cancel them. So I'm going to do this in one step. Now check me out here. If I factored out a negative here, it would flip this around, right? It would make this 2a minus 3, which would cancel with that denominator. Oh, wait, I got another 2a plus 3 and 2a plus 3 out there. Holy cow, look how all that just folds away. So this winds up being minus 6a over 2a plus 1, right? The negative 6a is what's left over in the numerator, and the 2a plus 1 is what's left over in the denominator. Pretty neat. Okay. Let's see here. Let's look at another.
Hey, Mr. Shirley.
I'm listening, bud.
How do you get the negative in front of the negative 6a?
Yeah, okay. So the 3 minus 2a, right? You know, the trick to flip it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just looked away for 1 second and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, what happened? No, that we just did that. So I took the negative out. It flipped this, which meant I could cancel it with 1 in the denominator.
Oh, okay, I got you. I see what you did.
Okay, cool. Okay. let's do another one just like this, and then we'll get to dividing. Okay, let's look at number. Oh man, there's some of these we won't be able to do. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my gosh, yeah, 42. Really, this just turns into a review of factoring. Okay, this is just a beautiful review of how to factor. So now I'm going to look at number 42. Dead on me. Okay, number 42. It's on page 439, guys, if you're following along in the textbook. 42. So we've got 4a squared minus 8a over ab minus 2b plus 3a minus 6. That's a factoring trinomial or factoring by grouping, right? 4 terms times 8b plus 24 over 3a plus 6. Oh man, that's nice. This doesn't factor. Look, that, oh wait, no, it does factor 3 out. Man, I thought we were going to have at least one that didn't factor. I'm going to put parentheses around all these, and then I'm going to factor each one of them. And again, I'm going to bring in this kind of scrap piece of paper to do this. Actually, I could probably write this underneath when I get it. I won't do the scrap piece. Let's look at this first one. So this top left, 4a squared minus 8a. And I'm gonna work each one of these like it's a factoring question. So first, I could factor this by taking a 4a out. I'm left with a minus 2, right? Yeah. Take the 4 out, is with a and 2. Yeah. Take the a out, 4a minus 2. Okay, so 4a squared minus 8a. Factor completely would be 4a minus a, or 4a times a minus 2. So let's look at the denominator here. This ab minus 2b. Now this is factor by grouping because there's 3 terms. Remember that, or 4 terms. That was the indicator. If we had 4 terms, we needed a trifactor by grouping. So I put the first 2 in a group and the last 2 in a group. I can take a b out of the first one. I'm left with a minus 2. I could take a 3 out and I'm left with a minus 2. Yep, this was definitely factor by grouping. So I'm going to underline this one so I remember to come back to it. So this would be a minus 2 times b plus 3. There's my second one here, right? Okay, let's keep going. The ab plus 24. This one's a little easier. ab plus 24. I can just factor what, a 4 out? No, an 8 out. That would be b plus 3, right? And then 3a plus 6, I could factor a 3 out. I'd be left with a plus 2, right? 8, b plus 3, and then 3, a plus 2. Okay, so let's combine all these. So this very top left one becomes 4a times a minus 2. It's multiplying, so I'm just going to bring it together. So times 8 times b plus 3 over this bottom left 4-term polynomial becomes a minus 2 times b plus 3. And the bottom right one becomes times 3 times a plus 2. Holy cow. Okay. So I combined all of those together as factors, right? They're all factors. So let's cancel this out. Let's cancel what we can cancel. So a minus 2. I've got a b plus 3, right? Now look, 4, 8, and 3. I know we can say this is 2 times 2, and the 8's 2 times 2 times 2, but none of those are going to divide by that 3. So we don't have to worry about factor out the 4 and the 8. And a lot of times students, which there's nothing wrong in this, is they'll cancel, if we just have integers like this, coefficients, they'll wait till the very end and then do it kind of the normal quick way. So 42, hold on. Yeah. So 4 times 8 would give me 32. I'm multiplying the 4 and the 8 together. We give me 32. Now we got an a over 3 times a plus 2. And what I mean by that is they'll we'll get to this point and they'll go, well, 32 and 3, that doesn't simplify, right? You can't divide 32 and 3 by anything, so we're done there. And that's actually it. Okay. So that's multiplying these. And I'm going to tell you, and I know, I mean, I get it. It feels like I'm throwing you in the deep end. But if you're struggling with the factoring part, go look back at 5.5. You're going to have to know how to factor to simplify these. And then make sure to get the first part of 6.1 done first, okay? And then get to this point. So now dividing, what's nice about dividing is just multiplying, just flipped, okay? Dividing is really multiplying. We just decided to give it its own name, okay? And what I mean by that is, let's look at basic fractions again. Let's say we had like 2 divided by 3, or 2 over 3 divided by, let's say 10, 7, something like that. So remember, if you're going to divide fractions, there's a kind of quick jingle here that you can do. It's called keep, change, flip. So you're going to keep the first fraction, you're going to change this to multiplication, and then you're going to flip the second fraction. So what you're really doing is you're multiplying by the reciprocal, okay? Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So you keep the first one, change to multiplication, and then flip the second fraction. And when you do that, we get 2 times 7, which is, we'll just leave it as 2 times 7. 3 times, and then 2 times 5, right? Is the 10. This is multiplication now, the stuff we've been doing. The 2 cancels. So it leaves me with 7 over 15, okay? So other than this first step, everything after that is what we've been doing so far. So other than the first step, everything we're doing after that is the exact same, okay? So if we look at it, I'm going to steal the first kind of homework question out of the test, or a homework question out of the book, 48. 7 over 3x divided by, I'm going to put this in parentheses, 14 minus 7x over 18 minus 9x. So if you see division, the very first thing you need to think of is, oh, I need to flip this second one and make this multiplication. So 7 over 3x times 18 minus 9x over 14 minus 7x, okay? So look, all we did, just like up here, we kept the first one, we flipped and changed this to multiplication, and then we flipped the second fraction, okay? We're multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so now let's factor. These are going to be a little easier. This is a nice, easy example, okay? So if we want to look at a really nice, easy example of multiplication, we don't really have to worry about factoring. Look, these aren't not trinomials. These factor nice. They just factor a number out. We factor the 9 out. So I'm going to put these all together now. Looking at this top right parentheses, 18 and 9, I can factor a 9 out. And I'm left with 2 minus x, right? And in the bottom, since this is multiplication, I'm going to put it all together. I can factor a 7 out. And I'm left with 2 minus x, okay? And then I'm going to just start canceling. So the 7 cancels here. The 2 minus x cancels there. Oh, hey, 9 and 3. This is what I'm talking about too. Look, so we get 9 over 3x. Now, we're not completely done here, though, because the 9 and the 3x still simplify, right? 9 divided by 3 is just 3. So we'd have 3 on top and x on bottom. Okay, 3 on top and x on bottom. So it leaves us with 3 over x. Now, look, notice everything after this first step is what we've been doing so far, right? It's just multiplication. So division is really just an extension of multiplication. It's just an extension of multiplication. Okay, let's do another example. I'm going to let you try this one. This is number actually 50. So 6a squared b squared over a squared minus 4 divided by 3ab squared over a minus 2. So I want you to try this one by yourself. I'm going to give you a minute. Try that out. I'll keep on rock and rolling. Okay, so let's start this one. If you're working, keep working. I think the only thing we have to factor is this difference of squares here, right? But let's make this multiplication first. So we get 6a squared b squared over. Now look, I'm just going to cheat and factor this right now. It's not cheating. Now this becomes a minus 2a plus 2, right? But then it's going to be times a minus 2 on top and then 3a b squared on bottom. So now I'm going to combine them with multiplication. So I get 6a squared b squared times a minus 2 over. Now I'm going to, actually, it doesn't matter. A minus 2, a plus 2, and then times 3a b squared. And now I'm going to start canceling, right? A minus 2 cancels with this a minus 2. We've got a 6 and a 3. Well, when I do that, it leaves me with 2, right? 6 divided by 3 is 2. We got an a squared and an a. So one of those can go away and it cancels out with the a. And we've got a b squared and a b. Holy cow. Look at all that red ink. Okay. And let's see what's left over. In the numerator, well, I've got the 2 from 6 divided by 3. I've got an a left. I think that's it. There's just 2a left in the numerator. Okay. In the denominator, the only thing left is a plus 2. That's it. Okay. Kind of neat. That's it, guys. Okay, cool. Sweet. Now, you'll notice in the homework, there's maybe a few tougher examples, but in the end, what's hard about it is the previous stuff. Just flip it, factor everything, multiply it together, cancel it. Okay, it's the same stuff. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to give you the homework. Okay, so for section 6.1 for homework, it starts on page 438. And I'm going to get a little picky and choosy. So 13 through 25. And then 33 through 37. Hold on. And I want you to do 43 through 55. And then 59. Through 63. Now, all of these are odd. I know that's weird. Well, we didn't go over a certain kind of factoring, a special factoring. So that's why I'm skipping around a certain kind of special factoring. So all of these you'll be able to factor, okay, to simplify it. And I'm just kind of skipping one that we didn't go over, okay, and it won't be on the test. So 6.1, all of these, you'll be good to go. And let me stop this recording.